Alright, hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals out there across the electrical ocean. This is Jazzman back with another game. This one going to be between Lanu, playing a split between Forglar and Savage Tundra, and then Barbaryan, who is normally an Iron Fist Stronghold player. 3 guesses as to what he usually plays, but currently he is running full faction Forsaken Waste, looking to be a skeleton deck. So Lanu going to have to contend with a boatload of summons here, and he seems to be playing, well, he's got Privateer Captain and Gelibrium Nexus, so maybe it's Savage Tundra Tortons, who knows. He's got Tortons Trade upgraded, so it might be Savage Tundra Tortons here. And then there's a nice early Zulos deploy for Barbaryan. Not my preferred choice. I think something like a Bone Wing would have been nice into the Privateer Captain, but Bone Wing doesn't get run too much. But yeah, something melee and something meaty would be a far better choice here, since Captain is 4-5 range with Ponderous. But there's a Glacier Rhino. Are you kidding? All right. Well, that's fun. So Glacier Rhino, I'm guessing that it's maybe not Savage Tundra Tortons then. So Zulo's going to walk into mid-font here, losing all his AP, and Tomb Lord caps top. Barbaryan has gone with the Summon Skeleton 1 upgrade, which is complete garbage. 9 HP summon. I mean, come on, like it has 4 speed, man. You got to take rank 3 for if you want it to do anything. So Nexus coming in here, gonna tap Zulos, give him a little love tap on the cheek with that psychic ping, and maybe put down a Hungry Mire for Torton Captain to slam him through. Or sorry, Privateer Captain. I keep calling him Torton Captain. It's a completely different rune. But gets a nice juicy explosive attack 3 off onto that Zulos. And yeah, so Glacier. Let's take a look at Glacier Rhino real quick, because I've never seen this guy in play. I've seen him, I passed over him in my rune manager a dozen times, but I've never considered running it. He's got knockback 3, and then he's got charge 3, so he can charge and then do a knockback, and then he gores off of that. So I don't know, he's 57 Nora for 60 HP, that's pretty good. I guess in full faction he'd have 65, and then a banner would put him up to 70 HP. I mean, he's a meat wall. He's definitely a thick boy, I can tell you that. But we'll see how he does versus these skeletons here. I feel like Glacier Rhino could definitely do with like a break the line or something on him. So, ooh, and there's a Dark Rising from Barbaryan. So, welcome to the Bone Zone, brother. We've got 5 big juicy summons here for a nice maybe Sever Summons champion to eat through. But for the moment, that's not going to be the case. These Risen Warriors, I mean, Zulos is going to do a Death Pact, but I don't know, 21 HP on that Nexus. I'm thinking that it's going to live through the turn, but Invoke Veil of the Mind should have triggered off of that. So everything has their ability cooldowns reduced, but the ability itself is on an 8-turn cooldown, so won't be getting used to Lanu's preferences for the foreseeable future. And this Risen Warrior actually got a really nice placement, letting him potentially relic contest on Barbaryan's next turn. So we'll see how Lanu responds to that. But the summons are just going to clog the field here, I guess, with their big meaty walls. And there must be some kind of like a bone trap or something in that font, because it is still neutral even after Zulos has left it. So maybe we'll see Glacier Rhino go back to contest this summon, but in all likelihood, he's probably just going to charge this Risen Warrior, and then maybe, I guess, Nexus could deal with the others. Like, he could throw down a Hungry Mire right here and hit all 3 of these. It'll kill this one, it'll do some damage to this one, and it'll do some damage to Zulos. Probably not in too much danger here, although 11 damage Zulos plus any kind of spell would finish off the Nexus. But all in all, that was kind of a really bad Dark Rising. It didn't actually do anything. So we'll see how Lanu responds here. And I'm sort of getting the feeling that his deck is sort of not any kind of like Torton or Beast split. It seems to be just like knockback stuff, right? I mean, he's got knockback 3 on the Glacier Rhino. He's got explosive attack on Captain with Slam and the Hungry Mire. And oh boy, do I ever love playing against knockback decks. It's so much fun to have Slam on everything. And man, you know, knockback players, they're some of the most intellectual players in this game. I've had some very stimulating conversations with knockback deck enjoyers. Stuff like, you know, their favorite flavor of glue, the best episode of Dora the Explorer, you know. It's just so much you can talk about with them. But we've got a teleport from the Nexus, and then followed by a Hungry Mire. And, oh yeah, Gale Force too. So Gale Force kill on that Zulos. And then this Risen Warrior is being left to contest that, or hold down the font, with the Bone Trap lurking nearby, wherever it is. And, oh yeah, there it is. Wait, how did we find that? Why did it take 5 damage? That's interesting. So the Privateer Captain slammed the summon this way, like from here to here, but then the Bone Trap randomly took 5 damage. Not sure how that worked. It was odd. So, I mean, he should have slammed him this, like, kept slamming him this way, right? Rather than into the Bone Trap? I don't know what happened with that. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me, but we do see a Mist of the Dead actually contesting this font for Barbarian. So Barbarian not quite giving up yet. He's going to contest with Mist. And Mist is a really annoying relic. Probably one of Forsaken Waste's best font contesters now. After its buff, it has Frightful Aura, it takes half damage from spells, and is completely immune to range. All for 30 Nora, so really annoying to have to get out of your font if your options are limited. So there goes the Soulbane onto the Nexus, taking it down, and Tomb Lord probably just going to walk into that... what the hell was that? Anyone else see that flash on the screen? Okay, well... that was probably nothing, right? I'm just imagining that. So anyway, Tomb Lord just going to walk into that font and hopefully contest, because otherwise, I mean, the Bone Trap's not going to live for very long. He doesn't have to walk in right now, I suppose, but, you know, he'll have to walk in eventually, and he hasn't actually summoned a skeleton yet. So I guess he's still 73 Nora. The summoned skeleton one keeps him cheap, but I'd rather have like more impactful meat than a slightly cheaper Tomb Lord. So Tomb Lord backs off, and that should be all of Barbarian's Nora for the turn, yeah. Because he was Soulbane and then the 30 Nora relic, so that's 70 Nora. I'm thinking Tomb Lord will try and grab that Nora globe. And maybe this one as well. He'll have to walk through the Hungry Mire to do it, but I mean, Nora is Nora when you only got one font to work with. So Lanu forced to deploy over here, the Lonk's Bounty Hunter. And Bounty Hunter doesn't actually have any knockback, so maybe I was a little too harsh at first blush on Lanu's deck. And, man, Glacier Rhino has to actually go to melee. He's not 1-2 range. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see it. I feel like his long neck and the thickness of that horn could maybe buff him up to 2 range, like 1-2 range, but it's probably not really the buff he needs. I'd probably just make him tankier, right? Like, he's already got, like, lower his HP stat a bit and then give him, like, an actual defensive ability. Or maybe just break the line, but whatever. We've got Tomb Lord. So Tomb Lord here, that capturing of the font will actually make it a little easier for Barbarian to grab the globe, because he only has to walk through one space of... What? Okay. Well, he summoned a skeleton at the worst possible time. He should have contested that font, because getting that globe would... I mean, the charge is on... Like, the knockback is on cooldown, the charge is on cooldown, I'm pretty sure, and then Captain, I guess, I don't know. Like, the Tomb Lord would have been fine, like, it wouldn't have died, and you would have gotten 2 fat Nora globes for that. Now, like, Lanu is just going to sit on that one with the deploy. Probably. I mean, he used 62 Nora on the Bounty Hunter, but, I mean, if he grabs that globe with the Rhino, he should have enough Nora for something else cheap. Or you could just deploy Void Mage over here? Okay, I have no idea. Okay, so basically... I don't agree with the sequence of plays. I feel like Barbarian definitely should have grabbed those 2 globes and put his Tomb Lord in the font, and then deployed like a Bone Elemental or a Skeletal Raider or something tankier for that mid-font. Like a Bone Elemental with Assault would have just destroyed the Privateer Captain. And then I guess this Risen Warrior, I mean, he's gonna die soon to Unstable, but the Relic is in the font, and Bounty Hunter will have to clear that. So Glacial Rhino goes in for a charge on the summon, but I really feel like, yeah, like getting the, like missing out on these 2 Nora globes was a huge opportunity loss for both of them. Actually, Barbarian could have grabbed them, Lanu could have deployed on this one, and then I don't know, move Glacier Rhino up through the Hungry Mire. It's 5 damage, right? Who cares? And now see, Barbarian is just gonna despoil them away. And hopefully get in the font with Reaper, as otherwise Lanu should probably deploy there next turn. Like, he could have put the Void Mage in the back if he didn't want to get poked by Tomb Lord or something, but I mean, I don't know. I just would have I would have just gone for it, like deployed the Void Mage like up in here, you know, well, probably back in here because of, you know, Scythe Whirl and whatever. But yeah, I feel like Lanu was a bit too cautious there, and the Bounty Hunter will recollect that font in yeah, probably about 2 turns. I mean, he's going to have power attack. He's going to have, you know, leap to get over the cliff. So eventually that font will be going back to Lanu. But wow, so Barbaryan does not seem to care about that mid font at all. He's just going to go for the threatening Glacier Rhino over here, doing 16 damage, bringing him down to 44. But Glacial Rhino still holding strong. Can even contest that top font actually with a relic. But okay, well, he's going to have to. Lanu did that completely wrong. He explosive attacked the Skeletal Reaper so that it moved this way and prevented his own Rhino from contesting. Like, Rhino could have knocked back the Warrior for 3 AP anyway. He wouldn't have gotten the knockback damage, or he could have gotten the like just moved towards the font and dropped a relic, right? Seemed like that would have been the better play, rather than having to just, you know, waste AP on a knockback. And like, he would have been chased down by the Reaper and the Tomb Lord, but still, I mean, like, you're contesting a font, right? You've got your font contested. You might as well contest his right back, right? So Bounty Hunter leaps in, goes for a regular attack on that Mist of the Dead. And it's actually going to be 2 more turns. No, just 1 more, because power attack will do 12. So Void Mage teleports towards mid. He's going to have some catching up to do. And man, I really don't know why Barbaryan doesn't put the Reaper into the font. I mean, he can Scythe Whirl for some evasive against these ranged champions, but I mean, now it's just sort of too late. He's going to get snowballed on by Lanu, who has the mid font. Then Glacier Rhino, yep, there's the Sacred Temple, going to drop a relic in his font. So even after that despoil, he didn't really do anything with those globes. He had the advantage here after he contests that font, but I don't know. Like, now, like, even though he popped the relic with the Seism, like, he can't even get through he can't even get past the Rhino to get back to his own font because he can't go over this cliff. So the Reaper going to do a Scythe Whirl onto these 2 champions here. Then Tomb Lord also getting distracted by the Rhino, going for his font. Gonna hit that Rhino, and then I guess Rhino just gonna run to the back and see if it can get a charge onto that banner. Or he could, if he wanted to, like, he could probably knock back that Reaper into his own chilling scale and kill it with the knockback damage. I mean, like, really at this point, there's no reason like to try and take that font. Like, you have it contested. You should probably just use your Rhino to take out Barbaryan's last few champions here. Because Reaper has evasive, and he's not going to die to that. And I mean, now at this, like, Rhino has to make an attack because you knocked it into the Rhino, and like you engaged you engaged your champion, right? So he has to finish that off. Does move into the font, but he's not quite out of Tomb Lord's attack range, assuming the Tomb Lord decides to chase the Rhino down even further. And Lonk's Bounty Hunter choosing, for whatever reason, not to power attack the Mist of the Dead and kill it. So, yeah, questionable choice. I guess Lanu doesn't really care for fonts either. I mean, he's putting in a lot of effort to move his Rhino into this one, but as far as the side font here goes, doesn't seem to be a priority for him, as Mercenary constantly drains his Nora. This game is very confusing. There is a lot of suspicious action going on here. Very sussy game. So Excavator. Will Excavator get in the font? Only time will tell. He's 70 HP. Like, he'll last a while, like with Punishing Aura and everything. Come on, get in that font. I know you want to. You were fighting for it all early game. You want to get in that font. Just do it. And yeah, I guess Tomb Lord will continue to poke at that Rhino, who has lasted a surprisingly long time for a supposedly shoebox champion. Of course, Barbaryan hasn't necessarily played this very well, although it's debatable whether either of them have played this very well. We've got Void Mage going to reinforce the Rhino, who might actually die to a spell. A Steal Life would be nice. Okay, so he's going to move the Tomb Lord away. And I guess just give up on that font. I mean, the Rhino's at 8 HP. Maybe he's going to wait for a Zulos to redeploy. Like Zulos to come off cooldown and then kill a Rhino that way. I guess that's possible. Like, he could, but he could have also done a bunch of other things that would have helped him. So, Excavator, don't tell me he's going to drop a bone trap. Come on, just walk in. If he drops a bone trap, he's probably just going to get slammed into it somehow, and then it's not even going to go off. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what he does here. He's one space away. Okay, so there's a Cloak of Skulls on Excavator. It's a pretty popular skeleton combo because Excavator is naturally bulky, like with 70 HP and whatnot. Then you give him 5 defense with the cloak, and then he just poops out lesser bone maulers all game, and it's really annoying. But against Forglar Swamp Savage Tundra, they're probably the best split to deal with equips, because they not only have Corrode, which is like completely anti-equip for 35 Nora, everything in AoE 3 is destroyed. They've also got Rebound, they've also got, a bunch of Shatter champions like the Ice Wisp or, Boghopper Snatcher. You've got Loot. We've got a lot of anti-equip options, basically. So, yeah, at this point, Lanu's probably going to do the right thing here, and he's going to knock back the Tomb Lord with Explosive Attack, and then get a slam into the wall with Void Mage. So that takes away Boost from the Excavator. And he doesn't actually have anything at the moment to deal with the splits. Or not the splits, but the Bone Maulers. Like, he doesn't have any, like, alternate attacks, aside from the Explosive. But I guess that is technically an option. The Excavator isn't necessarily a damage threat, so as long as you burn enough of your AP at the end of your turn, Punishing Aura doesn't do anything, and then Chilling Scale is tanky with the Frost Stance, which he promptly puts up. So the Lonx Bounty Hunter finally, by the way, regains control of that wild font, and then Rhino just going to go to town on topside here. While the Chilling Scale makes a normal attack. He could have gone for an Execute if he wanted, but I guess he chooses not to for whatever reason. That's fine. Maybe he wanted the Punishing Aura damage on his own champion, or for some reason. So there's a Flood, and I guess that's just to deal more damage to the Excavator, so that it can eat through Bone Fracture faster, without triggering it. He does hurt his own Chilling Scale, but at this point he's got basically all the fonts under his control. So Lanu in a very good place this game, as the Rhino on 8 HP will eventually take out that War Banner after 2 attacks. So as far as Barbaryan's game is going, it's not looking too good. He can throw that lesser Bone Mauler. I don't know, maybe towards the font again. It can't hit anything with an attack. And the Raider, he's behind on champions. He's behind on everything right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he surrendered this game and promptly went back to playing Iron Fist Stronghold Barbarian decks. And yeah, so there's not really much to commentate on at the moment. Lanu is just sort of going to snowball this. I mean, Barbarian is playing Forsaken Waste, so maybe he's thinking, if I can just get to late game, if I can get my champions back, But, I mean, he doesn't have the Nora to work with, right? He's lost his top font, he has no control over mid, and Lanu has all the damage in the world. So, we'll see. Barbarian is... sorry about that. Barbarian is currently running his turnout. Maybe he's raging in chat about how Lanu is playing an overpowered knockback deck. Which, if Barbarian were actually playing better himself, I could see being a valid choice to do with this time. But I'm really hoping he doesn't AFK or rage quit or whatever, because then I'd probably have to scrub this recording, and I don't really feel like doing that. So if that does happen, I'm probably just going to end the recording and consider Lanu's game, Lanu to be the winner. So just as a little heads up to everyone who may be watching, if that's what happens. So there goes the Punishing Aura. Barbarian passed his turn without making a single play. And, man, it's a shame we can't see, their in-game chat. We can only see the observer's chat. So, I'm guessing that Lanu is just going to take his last few turns here. Grabs that top font with the Glacier Rhino. And, that's probably it. Barbarian was probably intimidated by the intimidating presence of the Glacier Rhino running down his champions. I mean, come on, like if you were just, you know, standing in the middle of the frozen wasteland and this thing came charging at you from out of nowhere, like you'd be terrified, right? You'd be too afraid to even move. So there's the frigid barrier, I guess. I guess Lanu was just sort of rubbing it in a little bit now, doing a slam from the privateer captain into the crystal wall. Does proc bone God, I forgot the name of that ability already. It's not bone splintering. It's the bone elemental ability, popping out a few lesser bone maulers. But they're summons, so they won't contest that font for Barbaryan. If he's even still in the game, which I kind of doubt. Lanu having complete control over the fonts. Maybe there is a stealthed lurper somewhere, a skeletal lurper that I missed. I've been known to miss stealth champions before, like it's happened, but even if there was, I doubt it. As Barbaryan is currently running his turnout again. So chilling scale on 30 HP, and these summons are not going to do too much, even if Barbaryan decides to play the game again. But yeah, so Glacier Rhino basically ruled this entire game on his own. I mean, he took care of a bunch of summons, he took care of that font, you know, he took care of the Tomb Lord and the Reaper, doing some awesome knockback damage. So I think if we are going to learn any lesson from this game, it's play Glacier Rhino. Glacier Rhino is not a shoebox champion. He's very, very worth deploying, despite his 5 speed and binary or singular role. But yeah, so we've got Void Mage, Lanu's champions just sort of hanging out, staring down these bone maulers, waiting for something to happen. And yeah, basically, if this turn of Barbarians runs out, I'm going to consider it over, because there's no point in waiting for the disconnect to take effect. At that point. What else is there to do? Not much. I guess Lanu is probably thinking, man, if I ever play this guy again, I'm gonna make sure to own him extra hard for this that he's putting me through. So basically, the way the disconnect feature works is that after 3 rounds of your opponent not doing anything, they automatically like it's an auto surrender for them, and you just win. But if they actually disconnect, then it's I think 300 and something seconds that you have to wait for them to reconnect. And if they don't, then you win. So it used to be that there was no reconnect feature at all. Like if you disconnected for some reason, then you just lost the game. Like there was no option to rejoin. And but once the reconnect feature was added to the rejoice of players everywhere, because I mean a reconnect feature is basically necessary in like a turn-based strategy game like this. I mean, we're in 2023, and I know Pox Nora has sort of had a tumultuous history and all that with updates and balance changes and ownership. But I'm so glad that one of the last few things that the last few good things that I think it was Desert Owl Games that did it, or maybe it was even before that. I'm trying to remember now. Was it SOE who added the reconnect feature? I think it might have been during their time. Because I remember some of Sepulchre's old videos where he talked about he was so glad that there was a reconnect feature now. And he used to record during like 2014 era, so it was around then that they added it. Quite a long time ago. But, us hoary old veterans, we remember the deep... no, shit, what was that line again from Narnia? Don't cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written. So anyway, we've got Lanu finally taking his turn and killing off these lesser bone maulers. And yeah, that'll basically be the end of the game. Okay, so can I stop recording now? Is this proof enough that Barbaryan has left and Lanu has basically taken the game to his own? It is, right? I don't like doing it because it sort of seems unprofessional, but to leave a game before it's actually over. But I mean, if the other player is not even gonna play the game, then I feel like there's no point. So I'm just going to end this here. Lanu has very clearly dominated the map, and Barbaryan's shrine will almost certainly go down, either in the next turn or the one after, since he has not deployed a champion or made any move for the last few rounds. So thanks to everyone who's watched up to this point, and we'll see you all in the next one.